We're now making chocolate brownie, and these are the ingredients in front of us for our chocolate brownie mix. So in the bowl we have
some butter,
a lot of butter,
a bit of milk chocolate and a lot of dark chocolate.
that's it.
3 eggs in here,
Yeah.
some flour and some cocoa powder,
Yeah.
and
A lot of sugar. We're using golden caster sugar. Thing about a brownie is there are no raising agents in this. Right? So the raising is going to be from the sabayon that we're going to make with the egg and the sugar. So we will beat those together. But the first thing we need to do is to melt the chocolate and the butter together. So, do you want to put that on? All right, that goes up. So, we're now starting to melt the chocolate and the butter in a bowl over boiling water. If you want to do it over direct heat, you need to be really, really careful that it doesn't burn. It will work in the microwave, but again, really carefully, just a few seconds at a time, and just watch it all the time. This is the safest and the easiest method. Okay, so our butter and chocolate is melted, so we just put that on the side now to cool slightly. Next stage is sugar into the eggs here, and we put the whisk through it, make into a nice thick sabayon to the ribbon stage in exactly the same way as if we're making a Genoese sponge.
so it has a nice consistency.
Absolutely, and this is the thing that gives the brownie any of its aeration, yeah? Okay, so. It's gone nice and thick and creamy, right?
And white.
And white and foamy, which is exactly what we want. Cool. So we're now going to tip the chocolate in.
Tippy the chocolate out.
Right. And I will tip that because the bowl is still a little bit warm. And then we're going to fold that in. There you go.
That is satisfying.
Oh, yeah. The key to making a good brownie is, obviously apart from having a good recipe, is not to overbake it. Right?
Because it's brown, you don't know.
So there are certain signs you need to look for on the top. It starts to rise, and the moment that crust starts to crack across the centre, then it's the time to take it out. This one will take around about 40 minutes, but it might take 3 or 4 minutes less. It does depend upon the oven.
Don't go and do something. Well, actually, you can go do something, come back half an hour. Okay.
And if you leave it in for a little bit too long, it loses that brownie texture and goes slightly cakey. Right? And so the next thing now is to get the flour and the cocoa powder in. You ready?
More chocolate.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, so if you want to go for that now. Yeah. It is important that it's well mixed so you don't get lumps of flour or cocoa unmixed. And it's worth taking a bit of time to get this part sorted. This is a 23 centimetre square baking tin. Right. In a sense, there is a degree of flexibility on the size, 20 to 25 centimetres square, but the larger the tin, the shallower the brownie, the less time it will take to bake. Right? And potentially, if it is too big, then your brownie will become dry anyway. What I've also done is I've put 2 cross pieces of double foil in the bottom. This means that we should be able to lift it out very easily and straightforwardly if we don't have time to leave the brownie in the tin to set overnight. And I've put 2 pieces of baking parchment, one that way and one that way, so I avoid some of the crinkly bits in the corners. Right, so you ready to tip it in?
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Oh.
So do you want to spread that out?
Yes, I do.
I asked for that, didn't I? Okay, so spread nicely, and we're going to put that into the oven. Now, if I would do this at home, then I will normally bake at around about 170.
Well,
We know that Maelle's oven bakes hot, so we're going to bake at 160. There we go.
I can't reach.
Yes, you can. Up. "40 minutes. Okay, brownie's out of the oven. It's now completely cold, solid, so we can now lift it out of the tray onto the board, and so we are ready to cut. And the only way to cut brownie is to use a hot knife, right, and keep a paper cloth ready.
The stick's top tip.
Yep, so Dick's top tip, and so it will cut straight through.
Thank you. That works.
So the way this works is this. We've broken the egg white down a little bit with a fork.
So it's paintiful.
Paintiful, that's it. Right.
That is a technical term.
And we paint
With a paintbrush.
the outside of the fruit. And it's a good idea to actually paint, because otherwise it gets too wet. Right?
Not dunk it in.
No. And the other thing is you cannot use water, because, and you will see the reason why in a second, because we just roll it in sugar. And if you use water, it will just turn to syrup. All right, so we have a frosted raspberry. And then, well, this is when it starts to get a little bit more interesting, because we can give it a bit more of a sparkle.
We have so much.
Yep. You can put a little bit of the...
Here's those muscles.
And then suddenly, actually...
It's Christmas.
It's Christmas. And you can...
Dust your brownie.
Yeah. You can start to put some festive decorated fruit. Rosemary. What you must remember, though, is that whatever you put on top of your brownie must be edible. Because suddenly, if you use something out of the garden which is not edible and somebody eats it, then you could actually have a problem.
You could die.
Well, not die, but...
I mean, you could.
Okay,
You're just
so
not saying it.
there you are. So you've got a frosted Christmas tree, a little bit of silver.
That is a nice Christmas tree. Do you have to put sugar in before you put the glitter?
I don't think so, because, well, no, you don't have to. Then, I mean, if you want to do this, then there's nothing to, blueberries, there's nothing to stop you rolling them in a bit of red or green directly, but the problem with that is then they get completely coated, and I think it's quite nice that people have an opportunity to see what it is that they're eating.
Well, no, you see, you have to eat this and you don't know what it is.
Oh, no, this is not chocolate brownie surprise, this is festive brownies, yes? All right?